What about the buying experience have you found is most important to customers later on? I mean, there's this transparency I'm hearing, like, do what you say you can do, don't promise things that you can't do. What else?
One of the most common pieces of feedback that we receive, and it feels a little cliche, but it is true, is customers believing they have been heard.
Mm,
Customers believing they have truly been heard and that their vendor partner is doing everything that they can to act on delivering what they need. It doesn't mean it even has to be delivered. If it's promised, yes, it has to be delivered. But that buyer knowing they've been heard, the the vendor partner has explored every possible means. We can't give it to you, but this is how we can address the solution. Is often just shy of being as valuable as actually delivering it. So
mhm.
that would be the thing that through all the industries, all the interviews, all of the sizes of customers, all of the different types of products, that seems to be the most common feedback that we
Yeah.
hear.
One thing I might add to that too is that when we say we want to be heard, it's at an
Mhm.
individual level, isn't it? Right? Like what one person how they feel heard versus another person how they feel heard might be a little bit different, but we have to make sure that we're doing that with each person who's involved in the buying process, that everyone feels like they've been heard and that their concerns, their questions have been addressed as well as everybody's as a whole. Because I think I see that's what happens. We have so many people that are involved in the decision making process. We tend to only pay attention to the one person who has the ultimate buying authority. Theirs is the opinion who only matters. And that's how sometimes our other buyers feel like they haven't been heard. And so when people change roles or people move up in the organization, they still remember that they were ignored.
Yeah, agreed. And how many times is it that the person who's actually made the buying decision is not the person that's moving forward with managing the product or service that you're delivering?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
very common. And so you're right. So making sure that you truly have a grasp on everyone that's involved and what each of those individual needs are, not just the cumulative need. What's the state? You know this better than I do. How many different people are involved now in a buying process? I think last I heard was like 7, 12,
Yes,
something
between
like
5 and
that.
7 up to 12 depending on the organization.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot to juggle, but it is what sales is today.
Yeah. Yes, get good at herding cats.
Yes.
And I even find myself in this situation. I have a client that I'm working with where the sales leader brought in one of our solutions and excluded some of the people who would be impacted by this. And despite the fact that I asked, "Hey, what are their thoughts?" "Oh no, they'll do whatever we tell them to." Turns out that
Yep.
wasn't exactly true. And so
Mhm.
now I'm having to deal with someone who felt like they were blindsided by this. They don't know what's going on. And so there's a lot of resistance there because the person who was making the buying decision didn't include them. So, sometimes it's our fault, sometimes it's the buyer, but we have to make sure that we're asking those questions and getting everybody involved and feeling included and feeling heard and listened to.
Mhm.
What do you think
Yeah.
are some of the best ways? Actually, let me ask this question in reverse.
Mhm.
What are some of the things that you see sellers do that make buyers feel like they're not being heard?
I think one of the things is sticking to the script,
Mhm.
right? Which kind of goes back to making sure that you genuinely understand why buyers buy from you, right? Like I said, sales today is not easy. It is challenging. It is hard. There's a lot of herding of the cats. And so when you're looking at the materials that need to be delivered to your potential customers, to your buyers, the market messaging, if that is out of line with why the majority of your buyers buy from you, you're you've got an extra challenge right out the gate.
Mhm.
Yeah, before you really even get any momentum in that buying process, you already have to address the fact that you're not communicating well to your buyers. So, I think that that's one of the really important things is doing the work to make sure that you understand why why may why your ideal customers buy from you
Yeah.
right out the gate. Make sure your messaging resonates.
Yeah. And don't make assumptions. Oh, I assume that they know this, or I assume that they need this because it's a no-brainer. Don't assume anything because, you know, the old saying, when you assume, you make a you know what out of
Yeah.
me or you and me.